Hey, what's up, Virgo? Welcome to this timeless general tarot reading. Make sure to skip to the conclusion section if you would like a more comprehensive report on the message. I just received a comment recently about my delivery of these messages, and the individual was insisting that I was a little off point up until the end, but once I got to the conclusion, it was much more clear, and I was much more concise, so to speak, which that makes sense because as I'm sitting here waiting for the cards to drop, sometimes I kind of fill the void by saying whatever. So I don't know if that's how you feel or not, but that individual made that point, so if you seem to feel the same, make sure that you check the timestamps below for a conclusion section and take a look at that. That is the point where the message has developed fully, and I simply reiterate the message. So that allows you to sort of get the gist of what I was trying to get to from this reading. Alright, so with that being said, I have to also make sure to remind you that all of the typical disclaimers are assumed, all of the non-typical disclaimers are asserted. I'm not responsible for your misuse of the truth imparted by this message if it is not meant for you. You need to take what is meant for you and leave the rest for someone else. Also, while you're in the description box, make sure to check out these support links. That would go a long way in helping me do this. So I'd really appreciate it, whether it's directly through PayPal or indirectly through social media. Either way, it would be greatly appreciated, so thank you very much for that. I'm still waiting for my first PayPal donation. That'd be pretty cool. YouTube is still by far the most traction I've got for this, in terms of views and stuff, so it's still a place to be for this, as far as I can tell. Alright, so enough of me rambling on here, Virgo. Another good reason for you to check the timestamp. Make sure to skip past the interim until I can get to some kind of cards for you. Every once in a while the reads, it's different from read to read. I had an Aries read where like 5 cards came out by like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but I just completed a Leo reading where like it took like 6 minutes to get the first card, so it's just the nature of things. Okay, so as soon as I mention that the cards aren't coming out, the cards like to come out, and this is proof of that. So now I have this card coming out for you, and it is the 5 of Swords. You might need to stand your ground on an issue, even though other people do not agree with you. They may not be able to see the path forward as well as you, and that's why their fear is causing them to question. In this instance, though, it seems as if you understand, whether it's through experience or some kind of other wisdom, you understand that the path forward is going to serve you. The price you have to pay, though, is that these people who are not strong enough to follow you, you're going to have to leave them behind. They aren't interested in going with you on this journey. Maybe they can be convinced somehow, but the idea with this card is that they don't have the gumption to follow you along this path. You see a better path forward, and you are the one with the fortitude to make the difference. So the only real thing here is that you could, to a smidge of a degree, it's a sign of a price paid for success. And that's not the very typical definition of this card. This card is actually known more traditionally as the Lord of Defeat, but in my personal capacity with the card, from my own energies with the card, I actually see this as a card of victory at a cost in the upright. Okay, so now we have the second card, Ace of Pentacles. In the reverse. That is a lack of... That is a disappointment in anticipation. Maybe you were under the impression that these individuals would be helping you on this journey. Maybe this path forward that you saw, you were under the impression that they were going to help you, and maybe you even needed their help, financially speaking, or materially speaking. So it's going to be very disappointing when you try to go down this route, and you realize that they don't want to come with you because it's going to reduce the material assistance that you were expecting. So that's very disappointing, because in the Five of Swords upright, like, you see the path forward, but they don't. But that also means that they aren't going to provide their resources for you, so that's disappointing. Very disappointing. So let's continue here. Great Goddess, can we please expand the Five of Swords, please? Anything to expand the Five of Swords? Okay, how about a clarification on the Five of Swords? Something clearer, please. Okay, but just one card though, not 4 cards. Anything clear and concise for clarifying Five of Swords? Okay, how about clarifying Ace of Pentacles in reverse? Something clear for clarifying Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So actually, I accidentally got 2 cards here. So the one that flipped out though was this one, Nine of Swords, for clarifying Ace of Pentacles. Pretty straightforward. That's just, it is a sign that you're going to be anxious about. It seems like your plan was to rely on these people to some extent. They were a piece of your puzzle, and once you realize that they aren't interested in going along with you, it is going to cause some anxiety. You know, because your anticipation fell through, is what this is suggesting. And that is disappointing. That is disappointing. I don't know who they were. Maybe you thought they had more to offer, but then when push came to shove, when it really came to something real, they just didn't have it. So I don't know exactly what that is, but that's sort of what's being suggested here. It's not just that you're disappointed, it's that it's got you, now you're like, oh my god, now what am I gonna do? So definitely things not exactly going to plan in this situation for you. So I'm sorry to say that. If you were in the Five of Swords reverse, I would be able to say that your plan isn't any good because these other people are seeing the path forward better, but because it's in the upright, the idea of that is that you're the one who sees the path forward, so they're the ones who are missing out on this opportunity. But is the bottom line here. And that's disappointing. And unfortunately, getting stuck feeling like this then is very disappointing, if you can see a better path forward. So I hate to see that for you. So, Great Goddess, can we expand the Ace of Pentacles reverse, please? Can I get a clear message for the Ace of Pentacles in reverse? Or, yes, can we please expand the Ace of Pentacles in reverse? Any clear expansion for Ace of Pentacles in reverse? Okay, so we got this coming out. To expand Ace of Pentacles in reverse, we have the Hierophant in reverse. This card can be tricky to read sometimes because it's about dogma not serving you. It's about conventionalism not serving you. There's some kind of conventionalism that, even though it is supposed to serve you, the other reality is often it is not doing that. Something of convention, something dogmatic. The very cliche thing is that it's like, it's the worst parts of Christianity. It's the like control freaky parts of Christianity, the very demanding of your behavior parts of Christianity. It's not the Christly virtues. It's not living up to those Christly virtues, which is a good part of Christianity. It's like, it's the hollow after effect of the control freaky dogma. And that doesn't actually serve you. Even though it's shrouded in this Christly servitude that's supposed to serve you and would serve you if those were the properly embodied qualities. But in the wrong situations, that in the name of Christ and in the name of Christianity, a lot of people aren't served properly. That's a huge part of what that is suggesting. So it's like a lack of stronger faith. It can be abuse of position and authority. Another way I like to describe it is it's like meds, like psychological meds. They're supposed to work, but in utter reality, they really aren't working very good. So like by dogma and by cultural standards, we're supposed to think that those meds are working for us, but oftentimes they aren't. So even though like we're told they do, the other reality is they often do not. So that's also very interesting, but I'm trying to see how I could play this into your card here. So, following the Ace of Pentacles reverse, to a certain extent here, it's a sign of trying to do something differently. Taking an unconventional approach. Because the conventional approach isn't serving you. So I'm not sure how you're approaching this situation in a conventional manner, but that's part of where people aren't finding their faith in following you. So that's disappointing. So let me see here. So let's see. All right, Great Goddess, could we please expand the Five of Swords, please? Great Goddess, could we expand the Five of Swords? Can I get something clear to expand the Five of Swords? Temperance in reverse popped out for a smidge, but I didn't take it. Alright, so how about clarifying the Five of Swords? Anything clear for clarifying the Five of Swords? Okay, so this kind of wanted to come out for that. So, clarifying the Five of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, interesting. So, Virgo. Earth energy, Virgo. This is an individual who is interested in making money, so to speak. Their material abundance matters to them. So that makes sense as to then why when you lose this material opportunity, it gets you down so hard. And another thing is that wind and earth, so air and earth, swords and pentacles, they don't empower each other properly. So like, even though you're in your upright Queen of Pentacles, you might be having a little bit of trouble holding it together because of these mental issues. So this internal mentalism is diminishing your Queen of Pentacles quality, and having to go through this tribulation of putting up with these, like, I don't want to say dissenters, but dealing with these individuals that don't see things the way you do and see the success the way you do. That can really detract your higher Queen of Pentacles quality. So it's disappointing. You don't want to be in this energy as for surrounding energies. These are not very nifty for a Queen of Pentacles. The Earth energy doesn't mesh. It's not like you've got water energy surrounding you, which like empowers the Pentacle energy. It's the Sword energy. So even though you're in the upright, which is endearing, you're diminished. It definitely is weighing heavily on you. These disagreements and this disappointment. And okay, so what's interesting about this energy is it's an individual that they're down to earth, but they also don't mind looking good while they're at it. So, to a certain extent, seeing the surrounding energy, people might be able to get under your skin by criticizing why you want to make money. So if they're trying to like challenge your conscience on why you're trying to like attain material stability, that could really get under your skin. And if you let it get under your skin, then it's harder to get people to follow you along. And then it's just like a snubby, nasty kind of behavior. Then they don't want to help you out. And that's very disappointing because you're not in a toxic position here. So the path forward that you see reinforced by this card is reinforced by your quality. It seems like you do see a path forward, but you are finding yourself stifled. So let's continue. All right, so let's give another shot at expanding Five of Swords, please. So, Great Goddess, will you please expand the Five of Swords for Virgo? Can I please get a clear message for expanding the Five of Swords for Virgo? So here we go. We've got expanding your Five of Swords. Ooh, dang. Five of Pentacles Reversed. Another sign of being left behind. This matches or I shouldn't say being left behind, but when this occurs, even though you're standing your ground, you're losing a lot of opportunities here for some reason. You're losing an Ace of Pentacles. So those opportunities, those material opportunities are not materializing. And you might even be stepping on somebody's toes and we also have 555, which is that is a symbolism of change, of retrospection, of you really considering a difference made. Like it's kind of like a rebalance of your world. You're like things are really settling into place as to how you're going to be approaching things. And it's rooted on this Five of Swords. So like, it's very disappointing because standing your ground is losing you a lot of things. And it's disappointing because you're in the upright, so it's not suggesting that you're being toxic about it. You actually have a valorous role here, but the individuals whomever's toes you're stepping on to take this path forward, they are not appreciating it. And that's going to leave you sort of abandoned by them, left out in the cold. And if you were expecting them to help you materially, because you're standing your ground like this, you're losing their financial assistance. You're losing their material contributions to you. And in the reverse, this could even mean prolonged unemployment. So I'm now deathly curious about what the situation is. There's no wand energy, so it doesn't even strike as a career thing off the top. Maybe you're an independent, some kind of independent material aggregator of some kind. And sort of something that's coming to mind is the idea that if you are super independent like that, if you just barely step on the wrong toes, it can like shatter your ad revenue, or it can like shatter your sponsorship revenue. And that sucks because you can't stand on your own laurels and keep receiving that assistance, unfortunately, in today's day and age. There's a lot of political correctness that is like ruining independent individuals. So that's disappointing. And it's another, it kind of plays back into this convention that is not serving you anymore. So whatever situation this is that you're wrapped up in, maybe it has served you in the past, but like it's almost like you're growing out of what it takes to keep succeeding in those traditional ways. And the idea that they're going to keep serving you is falling through here. And you're even finding yourself in destitution for this. Not like, probably not severe destitution, but you're definitely losing some material stability, which is the last place a Queen of Pentacles needs to be in. Because that's one step away from her losing her what's the word I'm looking for? Integrity, but secure, like her security. It is a step towards her becoming very insecure. And that's disappointing because you're in the upright. So let's see. Let me do a shuffle real quick, and then we will see what else we can pull out here. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately it's not the greatest sign of success. I'm not sure what you're standing your ground on, though, because the universe is kind of suggesting that you are standing on solid ground. But the price to pay for that, unfortunately, there's a price to pay for that. And it's this material stability. So you're really going to be ruffling some feathers and stepping on some toes to stand your ground like this. So I don't know what you're doing. I'm kind of curious here. If it was a personal reading, we could go back and forth on that. But alas, I have to kind of speculate here from the outside. So, alright, so let's continue. Alright, Great Goddess, can you clarify, or let's see here. Alright, so Great Goddess, can we expand the Hierophant, please? Great Goddess, can we get a clear message for expanding the Hierophant? Okay, so this poked out a little bit. So to expand the Hierophant, we're looking at Knight of Swords. That is kind of a call to different action. It's wind energy again. Air sign. It can be somebody who is... They can challenge... They're kind of the individual that would challenge the convention most readily challenge the convention. Interestingly enough, they're quick to action. They can be hasty, but that can be an endearing quality in the upright because they won't be held down and told what to do so easily. They're going to take their action. So I'm not exactly sure how that's expanding the Hierophant in reverse. It's like the energy would be somebody who isn't afraid to take on this convention that isn't serving them, and somebody who's willing to speak out against it. And they're not even in the negative, so it's not like they're just being toxic. It's like they're actually coming at it with some decent virtue, even though they might be a little hasty, which is just part of this card is that it can be hasty, but it's also producing a little bit of success. So I'd like to see how it's clarified. It's also kind of matching your Five of Swords energy here, so it's like it's the same quality that would get you to speak up in this scenario. It's the same energy here. So like this energy is kind of what gets this spun forward to a certain extent. So I'm curious to see the clarifier, because it would be nice to see a lot of optimism for that. Okay, so let's try to expand the Five of Pentacles Reversed, please. Great Goddess, Five of Pentacles Reversed. Can you please expand the Five of Pentacles Reversed? Bold card tried to flip out there. Great Goddess, Five of Pentacles in reverse, please. Oh, this is also coming to mind. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I was going to ask you to subscribe if you are so inclined, but that's pretty obvious, I think. So I'll remind you now, but I won't insist on it. Okay, so we do have this card coming out. So Five of Pentacles Reversed is expanded by the High Priestess in reverse. Definitely lacking in intuition. It is a sign that it's going to kind of disrupt your inner world dealing with this. And it's easier to feel like that when you're in destitution, is the bottom line. Because it's harder to hold yourself together when you're struggling like this. So that's unfortunate. Very unfortunate, because I don't know what you're standing your ground on here, but it's like chewing you up and spitting you out big time. And we even have the High Priestess reverse and the Hierophant in reverse. And traditionally these cards are known as the Pope and the Popess. So this is, even though the energy I prefer to read from them is more of the intuitive quality and the energy, there is a symbolism here of it being very traditional religiousness in the reverse energy. Like very traditional religious principles that are not serving you is part of the problem here that I'm seeing. So that's very disappointing. Alright, Great Goddess, can we expand the High Priestess? Great Goddess, if you would please, can we expand the High Priestess? That kind of wanted to come out with this anyway. That's kind of interesting, actually. That was the Page of Swords, which is very interesting, matching the Knight of Swords. Because it's actually a lot of people challenging the convention. So I kind of want to pull that out for you. But let's see if I can get something else. So great. Okay, so right as soon as I said that we have this, so this is the Fool. Interesting. If I can get it to... Ah, crap, hold on. Let me rearrange these real quick here. So you got the Fool energy. So it's like, kind of what I'm getting here is, you can't stay focused on your destitution. You need to be excited about this new path you're choosing to take. You need to be like energized about this ground you're choosing to stand on. And you've got to embrace that new journey, because it is basically a new journey. So whatever this is, and whatever this disappointment in material is, it does lead to some disruption in your world. But if you keep focusing on that disruption, you're gonna get stuck in these energies. You're gonna get stuck out of your material well-being. And kind of what this is suggesting is, to get out of that, you've got to make sure that you remember, you've got to embrace the new path you're taking. You've got to embrace this new fight that you're choosing to have. And you've kind of got to leave this, whatever this dogma is, in the past pretty hard, I would say. And it looks like you might even inspire others to take up the challenge with you. So I'm sorry that you're going to lose this, whatever this abundance is. I'm sorry that you're going to feel so left out in the cold and so in such destitution. I'm very disappointed to see that. But the longer you focus on how stuck you are, the longer you will be stuck. It's like a kind of a cliche law of attraction thing going on. So So kind of to bust out of that, what's being suggested is you've got to embrace this new path forward. That's how you get out of it. That's how you get out of the destitution. Out of like kind of not feeling great about how things are going. So that's what I'm getting from that. So let's see then, what can we do to clarify? All right, so Great Goddess, can we please clarify the Five of Pentacles in reverse? Great Goddess, can we please get a clarifier for Five of Pentacles in reverse? Okay, so this is trying to come up here. Another 5. I need to look for something else. Alright, Great Goddess, can we get a clear sign for Five of Pentacles in reverse, please? Anything, Great Goddess? Clarifier for Five of Pentacles in reverse. Alright, so maybe it really wanted it to be Five of Wands. How about High Priestess in reverse? Any clarities for the High Priestess in reverse? Seven of Swords in the upright, actually. Tricky for sure. The Seven of Swords is all about indirectness, taking indirect action. So resorting to indirect behavior, possibly due to the fact that you have lost some intuition. Oh, here's Five of Wands on the bottom of the deck again. Reversed. So that really wants to come out. So I'm actually going to just take that out. It really wanted to emerge anyway for this. So, man. Yeah, this is weird. So now you have 5, 5, 5, 5. 4 5s. And that's even more to that idea that, like, you're really considering restructuring your life after this, and that's exactly what I'm seeing here anyway. I'm seeing a lot of... There's a lot of like resettling on how life is going to be to a certain extent, based off of this choice you make to take this new path forward. Even though it's not going as you anticipated, you anticipated it to go better. You did, undeniably. Okay, so it's disappointing because Five of Pentacles reversed, Five of Wands reversed. That's a lot of discontention. It's a lot of... It's very stuck energy. Confliction. It's almost like... Yeah, I mean, like... It's just very stuck energy. Things not moving forward very well. It is definitely what it's signifying. The Five of Wands in reverse is, like, typically in the upright, the Five of Wands is about a group coming together and getting to the heart of the matter, even though that can be really tough. And it can step on people's toes, so to speak, and you have to like really get to the bottom of things. But the idea is that when you get to the bottom of things, that there's growth that occurs. The problem is that in the reverse, that growth is not occurring. It's like either people are afraid of the growth, or they're afraid of the conflict, so the growth can't occur. So and that's disappointing because following that is with the Seven of Swords, which is a card of indirectness. So it is sort of a sign that due to this lack of ability to get this growth directly, somebody is resorting to some indirect behavior. And that might be you. So maybe the indirect behavior you're going towards, that you're taking, is the path you're trying to take on this Five of Swords. And in that instance, people of convention aren't going to want to follow you because it's against the rules, so to speak. And it's definitely a sign that you're, you know, to a certain extent, a rabble rouser, so to speak. And you are sort of rocking the boat. The problem is in these dogmatic situations, people don't want rocking the boat. They just want things to keep being the same way. And a lot of them, even a lot of these subjects are comfortable in that. So if you try to rock the boat like that, you're going to find people in that dogma who aren't willing to deal with the issues. They just want to stay stuck in the same place, is the bottom line. And that might lead you to resort to this indirect energy. But if they see that as shallow behavior, then they're not going to want to help you out. It's undeniable. But it is disappointing because you're a Queen of Pentacles. So, let's see what else can we do here. Great Goddess, can we clarify the Hierophant in reverse, please? Great Goddess, can we get a clear clarifier for the Hierophant in reverse? Man, if like the Five of Cups come out, then you're at 5 by 5, and that's definitely a huge change in your life that you're considering. You're considering a completely different dynamic of how you're going to approach your living. So that would be interesting if it came out for sure. Great Goddess. How about a clarifier for the Knight of Swords then? Clear clarifier for the Knight of Swords, Great Goddess. Great Goddess, not Gray Goddess. Goddess full of light. Can we please get a clear clarifier for the Knight of Swords? Alright, how about a clarifier for the Fool card? The Moon. Reversed. Huh. Interesting. So it's a good sign for you. The Moon in the upright signifies illusion. Even when the moon is not there, because there's no light shining on it, the physical body of the moon is still there. But you have to believe in it being there. You have to know better in your heart and soul that the moon is still there, even when your material senses cannot find it. The problem is, if you don't have that intuitive capacity, if you don't have that sort of heartfelt sense of what the truth is, if you don't see the moon, you will think there is no moon, which is a form of illusion. You're illused to the idea that the moon isn't there when it is there, which is why, conventionally, since the moon in the upright, so if this card is reversed, it means illusion. That is why in the reverse, it actually is about getting over that illusion, because the illusion of the reversed energy is flipped with the moon. It's kind of special like that. So this is a sign of getting over illusion. It's a sign of you seeing the truth. It's a sign of you having faith that the moon is there even when you can't see it. So clarifying this Fool card and clarifying the Seven of Swords is actually a pretty cool card, because it's signifying that you are understanding why this indirect action, even though it might go against this dogma, is more proper and is actually better action. So it's a very rare clarifier here about how the Seven of Swords isn't just you being a thief or something. It's about you. It's about your uncouth behavior actually being more virtuous than might appear on the surface. And it's also clarifying the Fool. So it's like this path forward that you see, you're the one who sees this path forward clearly, both in the Five of Swords and in the Fool card, upright. And even if it's indirect action, even if it's unconventional behavior, there is a sign of virtue to this, and a sign of righteousness to it to a certain extent, which is exactly why these dogmatic individuals and these dogmatic sects are going to be so steamed about this, because they're stuck in this stuck energy. So when they see you bust out like this, and you're actually the one who's on virtue, that is very hard for them to, that's a very tough pill for them to swallow, because they're supposed to be like the dogmatic prescribers of truth. and you're in this position to like really clean their clock on what that's really all about. A true sort of spiritual warrior to a certain extent. So it's disappointing that you have this Nine of Swords striking you here, because this is suggesting that you actually have a solid grasp on what is more virtuous in this situation. So that is awesome. That is an awesome card to clarify over here. So let's see here what else we've got for you. Let me do a quick shuffle here, and then I will move on and get some more clarity on these last two spots, and then the reading will almost be over, so we're looking at 35 minutes. Man, sometimes I feel like there's times where I feel like other readers like squeeze in so much more into the same amount of time as me, but I already talked pretty fast, and like that person in the comment said, they were insinuating that I was putting in too much energy at first, but the idea that I don't know, it doesn't feel right that I am going too fast on these. Sometimes it feels like I'm not putting in enough energy sometimes, so whatever. Okay, so Great Goddess, can we please clarify the Hierophant in reverse? Okay, so this is trying to poke out here. So Hierophant in reverse. Ooh. Two of Pentacles reversed. Once again, a sign of imbalance. It is a sign of, and because it's clarifying this Hierophant reversed, whatever this convention is, the convention itself is imbalanced. It isn't taking up the proper balance of like mentalism and soul power. And that just keeps leading me back to dogma. This dogma is all mind driven. It's all compellence. It's all about like compelling their subjects to like do whatever they say because that's what's supposed to be right. And it doesn't matter how you feel about it. So to a certain extent, it's like it's sacrificing your heart and your spiritual heart and your spirit for the sake of pushing and only acting through this like mental order that's demanded by this dogma. So it's definitely a sign that you are trying to break out of that imbalance, because you're a Queen of Pentacles. So when you're sacrificing yourself in this Two of Pentacles energy, it's not going to resonate with you. You need this balance to achieve your material success in your well-being and your material abundance. And if this dogma is taking it away from you, then you're going to act like this. You're going to try and walk away from this, and you're not going to be comfortable being stuck in this. And you might resort to these indirect actions to bust out of it. So I'm happy to see that this Queen of Pentacles is in the upright, because if it was in the reverse, and this Five of Swords is in the reverse, then I would be sitting here saying that you're like a part of the toxicity yourself, but it looks like in this that you're half virtuous. So I don't know what this dogma is. It's pouring out in this reading that that you're struggling against this dogma, but that is a virtue. That's what the energy is suggesting. And very cliche for a tarot reader to, dog on dogma, but when it controls you like this and stuff, it's not serving you. It is serving itself more. And people will just be stuck for all eternity in it if nobody stands up to it, like it looks like you're trying to do. So I don't know, it also looks like, because of this Ace of Pentacles reverse and this Five of Pentacles reverse, that you are really ruffling some feathers of some kind of traditional support in your life. Something that traditionally gave you material support it's going to be the kind of the price to pay to free yourself from this, is that of course they aren't going to keep supporting you in those fashions, naturally. It would be nice if they would, if they were actually going to live up to their Christly virtues or whatever it is, but it's not happening. So at the end of the day, it's a choice you're going to have to make. Are you willing to take this journey? Or do you just want to be comfortable by sacrificing your spirit to a certain extent? The choice is still up to you. At this point, I'm not telling you to do one or the other. Because, if I tell you to jump the ship and then you get stuck in this destitution, and then you put it on me, that sucks. So I'm not going to tell you to do that. It's something that you have to choose for yourself, and you have to accept the consequences for yourself. Best case scenario is you can bust out of this and then also reaffirm your material stability some other way. That would be your freest self, it looks like. Okay, so one more clarifier on this Knight of Swords, which in this position may be an ally. You might be the first to do this, but you very likely might not be the last one to do it. Other people, through your example, may be able to achieve a better quality of living as well. So that'd be pretty cool. And once again, just to clarify, I'm not saying that like this is a... I'm not trying to say that like all Christian churches or something are bad off the top. Some of them are good. A lot of them are good. Every once in a while, there are some that are extremely dogmatic, especially if they're like tied into your family. And in those situations, it's not serving the people that they've got trapped in their dogma. So, you know, it's got to definitely make sure that the criticism is correct and that you're not criticizing a good group of Christians who deserve your help and stuff. I'm not really seeing that here, though. If you had this Queen of Pentacles in reverse and this Five of Swords in reverse, then I could claim that maybe, and especially if the Hierophant and High Priestess were in the upright, then I would be claiming that you're like very toxically hating good people, but it's kind of the opposite. The energy I'm getting here, just to be completely honest, is that they're very dogmatic. And it's stifling your ability to have your own quality of living. And that happens. Dogma does that. So, Great Goddess, can we get a final clarifier on the Knight of Swords, please? Clear clarifier on the Knight of Swords. Is this one card? Yep. This looks like the Emperor card, actually. My Emperor card's been getting a little worn out here. Okay, so it's not. It's the Hermit. Interesting. So, interesting, because the Moon can be a sign of internal stability. And now we have the Hermit as a sign of internal stability. And the Two of Pentacles is a sign of lacking internal stability, and the Hermit is a sign of internal stability. So it's very interesting here. Kind of the sign we're getting is whatever a dogma has disrupted within you, whatever disruption it has normalized within you, very likely what that is a lack of spiritual presence. And you sacrifice that spiritual presence to go along with the dogma in your mentalism, is sort of what that means. So with the Hermit here, by freeing yourself from this dogma and challenging this dogma with this Knight of Swords energy, that's going to empower your ability to self-reflect, to introspect properly about your soul and your spirit. And that is the first step towards rebalancing this internal thing that the dogma has taken away from you. So, while this Knight of Swords is known for being critical and to a certain extent hasty, but more specifically, like they're rather action oriented. In the form of criticality, like verbal criticality, they can take like critical verbal action. You might be better served by pointing that into yourself and putting that energy into rectifying what this dogma has taken away from you, as opposed to directly challenging the dogma, is a part of what this is suggesting. And if you can do that, you can basically fix some of the issues that this dogma has caused without fanning the flames of the dogma's ire for you. So, sort of what that's suggesting. Interesting too that it's complementing the Moon here. And it's a sign of going inwards. And also, if you leave this dogma behind, it might be a societal thing. You might be finding yourself with more time to yourself anyway. So make sure that when you're doing that, you are doing healthy retrospection. And you're not retrospecting negatively like this could make you. So, oh, also, I just realized the Hermit is Virgo. That's actually Virgo's major arcana. Now that that just came to my mind, just remembered that. So that is actually signifying that this Knight of Swords is very likely your energy. It's not just some wind sign. or some, it's not just some air sign. It's a good shot that your energy is that form of criticality. Just remember that this criticality is what can lead you to taking this action, which is what can lead you to this destitution and this dogma getting annoyed with you. So definitely a reading that would be very interesting in a personal capacity because of some of these specifics here. Like, if it's not a dogma, then I would be curious to get some more details as to what this reversed dogmatic energy is, if it's not a literal dogma. So it would be very interesting to do this as a personal read. And then this moon card just made my day big time. That's my first read of the day, and that moon card was cinch. It was awesome. I loved that moon card for this. So, like, you're getting a lot of positive energy. You're just going to have to really be careful with how you rock the boat, is my best advice. So maybe take it easy on how you approach this. And real quick, I'm going to do my conclusion, since I'm getting into the conclusion here. So this is just to mark timestamps. It doesn't mean anything or anything like that. So just a quick sec here. All right, Virgo. Very interesting read for you. We have your energy emerging, the Hermit, and we also have the Queen of Pentacles, both in the upright. That is a great sign for you personally. The root energy of your reading is the Five of Swords. I see this as a message that you see a better path forward that others are not strong enough to make, whether they're too weak or too afraid, or they're too stuck, whatever it is. This path that you want to take, you can see the path forward clearly, and you have the courage to make that path and journey, but others around you will not. So if you actually pull the trigger, so to speak, on taking this action, you are going to be losing people as a result. And what I'm seeing here in the reading is that that might not have been your anticipation. You may have been anticipating that individuals would be more proud of you and would be more glad of you, and that they would follow you along. Unfortunately, what I am seeing here is that they are not. You are going to be disappointed if you're anticipating them being on your side. You're going to be disappointed if you think they are going to be super happy about this, so to speak. It is too bad, but whatever stand you're making here, even though it's kind of true to who you are, and it looks like you're an endearing individual, you have signs here that you in fact are sort of on the right path here. You can see why this is better in the long run. Unfortunately, these people do not. And part of why it seems like they are not is because there is some kind of dogma that you are all in. It could be very literal, religious, traditional dogma. It could be some other form of cultural dogma, secular dogma, I'm not sure exactly, but there's a lot of dogmatic energy here. And it's not in like a more optimistic energy, it's very ill-dignified. These dogmatic entities are in the reverse energy here, and that is a sign that they are not actually serving you. They've lost like their actual authenticity towards higher power, and they're very stuck in serving like raw materialist notions. They've lost their authentic they've lost their authenticity is the bottom line. And that might be part of why you in fact are trying to overcome this, because when they've lost their authenticity like this, those trapped in their dogma have a diminished quality of living, because the dogma is insisting that they have to like suffer to a certain extent. And you as a Queen of Pentacles, a grounded Queen of Pentacles, you're probably saying F that to some degree. You want to have a more grounded and stable life. You want to have a better quality of living. Problem is, in this dogma, if you try to actually take that path, you've got to challenge that dogma. And when you challenge that dogma, unfortunately, most of the people trapped in that dogma are too afraid to do anything. And that's what we're seeing here with the Five of Pentacles reversed and the Five of Wands reversed. That's a huge sign of being stuck. People who are stuck in not growing into greater power. which is something you seem to want to do. And it's very disappointing because you should want to grow into your higher power. You should want to grow into your own well-being, your own stabilization, your own grounded energy, your own quality of living. The problem is, these people do not see eye to eye with you. So when you thought they were going to be there to support you, they aren't. When you thought they were going to be there to continue supporting you in the same traditional ways, they aren't. They are not, in fact, going to support you. And that's going to have an effect on your mentalism. It's going to kind of knock you down a peg. It looks like you weren't anticipating that. And through taking this option, if you take this route, if you take this action, the message here is that they are going to maybe cut you off to a certain extent. They're going to cut you off, or they aren't going to help you as you anticipated. And it looks like that might put you down a little bit inside of yourself. You might have had a different anticipation. So that's disappointing to see for you. Because it looks like these individuals aren't willing to grow about this. And it's hard for them to do that if they're in dogma. Yeah, I'll take McDonald's if you're going to get that.
Say what?
I'll take McDonald's if you're going to get that. Thanks. Thanks, Virgo. I live in my mom's basement. Thank you. Thank you for noticing. Support me on PayPal, would you please? Sorry for that conclusion getting interrupted. I hope you don't think it's the biggest sin in the world that I live in my mom's basement. And I don't have a job. But maybe you can sympathize because those things I just said it's dogma that they're bad. And I myself can sympathize with you as an earth sign, that I'm trying to find my own stability outside of dogma. So part of that is being brave. It's being brave and challenging the dogma, but I can sympathize with when you challenge dogma like that, you get stuck in places like this. You get stuck in your mom's basement with no job and no money because to break out of that dogma, you have to find your independence, and dogmatic society cannot stand that. So when you try to break out of that dogma, this is what people give you. They say, how dare you try to be free? And you wind up with no support. And you can wind up in my situation. I can't imagine that you'll be that though. If you're an actual grounded Queen of Pentacles, an older woman, it's harder for you to not find some kind of support. But maybe.
Ben, would you rather have like a grilled chicken sandwich or something from Sonic?
No.
Come on, man.
Why'd you ask in the first place? Sorry. Right in the middle of a reading, but they like to yell at me. What did I tell you?
I wasn't sure of all the locations exactly that Brad was going to. And it looks like he's going to Chinatown or Sonic. So would you rather have Chinatown or Sonic?
Hey, I'm right in the middle of concluding a reading! Okay, so I need to wrap this up because I need to go upstairs. There's a good sign here that you can bust out of this dogma. And there's a good sign that you understand where the dogma is holding you down. And the bottom line is the dogma and the individuals in the dogma are not going to appreciate you challenging them. And they're not going to just like keep helping you out if you're saying they're bad. It's very natural. It's probably very disappointing from this dogma's perspective, but like this dogma probably should be taking the higher route for that, but it looks like they aren't because they're in this negative energy. And what's being reinforced here is that they're the source of the tribulation. They're the negative energy. Their results are the negative energy. Their inability to move on, their capacity to make you feel like this is all the negative energy. The parts that represent you, your Queen of Pentacles heart, your Hermit energy, Virgo energy, your Knight of Swords challenging capacity, your ability to move forward when others will not because they're afraid or too weak, your ability to see a better path forward, your ability to take action around the dogma, the way that you can trust your heart and soul as to why that's the right thing to do, why listening to this dogma is not the right thing to do. That all speaks to your quality. And that is all of that is how you can. It's why I hope you can overcome this, because the energy is aligned for you to do so. You've just got to make sure that you understand the price you're going to have to pay, which is that you're going to have to find a new way to gain your material stability. And somebody's coming downstairs right now. They might be trying to interrupt me again, so we'll see. I'm almost done here, though. Okay, good. No interruption. So that's just the final point I've got for you. You are... Once again, you've got 5, 5, 5, 5. So you have 4 5s, and that is a sign of you're really considering this shakeup in your life, and it's often a sign of really moving forward to something new. And I hope that you can do that, because you deserve a better quality of living than this dogma is affording for you. And as a natural Queen of Pentacles, it's how you're going to feel most comfortable. So, all right. I'm very sorry, Virgo, that the end of this reading got kind of chopped up. Very bizarre interruption here. But some people don't like you seeing your power. They want you to be trapped like they are. So hopefully the interruption was part of deity saying some sympathy, getting some sympathy along. So, all right. That's all I've got for you. The path you choose to take is up to you. So I hope you can embrace it, and I hope you can do the best thing, because I want to see you break free of this dogma and attain your material stability. And if you can do that, I will be proud of you. And I will be happy that I could help contribute to that well-being in your existence. So thank you very much, and I'm sorry for the crassness that had to emerge here because of people yelling at me. So thank you very much, take care, and good luck.